I think we can go ahead and get started. So welcome to our holiday webinar for this season 2022. We're going to be discussing and reviewing how to prepare your analytics for a prosperous holiday season, from predictive audiences to testing strategies, so that you can increase your return on ad spend. That being said, I'm Christina, and Sim, if you want to
Hello, my name is Sim. Let's do a quick introductions as well. So I'm a senior analytics consultant at InfoTrust based in Toronto, Canada.
And I am an analytics consultant based out of Cocoa Beach, Florida. If you were watching the Artemis 1 launch yesterday, that's actually my backyard. It got scrubbed, so I guess you weren't watching it, but that's who we are.
Perfect. So let's just kick off with a little bit about InfoTrust introductions. Many of the attendees probably know or probably do not know InfoTrust. At InfoTrust, we believe in better data and better decisions. And InfoTrust works with some of the most recognizable brands. Many of probably the attendees are our clients at this point, and they know the class of work and what we do. Just a quick intro, the numbers you're seeing on screen. We have 30 plus Fortune 500 clients, 78 customer NPS scores, which is again a pretty high range in this industry. 94% client retention rate, again strongly speaks for itself, and a score of 89 employee NPS score as well. Christina, we can move on to the next slide. Again, a little bit more about InfoTrust industry focus. We believe in a multitude of industries, consumer packages, goods, news media, publishing companies such as Funimation, retail and e-commerce clients, and then we have other industries like fitness centers, cruise lines, and financial clients too. So we are definitely dealing with a multi sort of aspect of different companies trying to contribute towards this analytics goal. Christina, we can move on to the next slide. And again, a little bit about our Google accreditation. We are Google Marketing Platform sales partner, and we are officially a Google Cloud partner as well. We are more than analytics. We do not sell media. We have proprietary product. Many of your clients on the call probably know this, Tag Inspector. And then we definitely have global experience as well, from LA to Dubai. We have teams over 30 countries, and working with over 30 Fortune 500 companies as well.
With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. For many companies, I'm sure yours included, the holiday season is definitely make or break. This time of year can account for a significant portion of annual sales, so it's crucial that marketing campaigns are carefully planned for and well executed. Businesses need to be able to show not only that their campaigns are effective, but also that they are providing value for the business. This is where analytics come in. By tracking key metrics, businesses can gain insights into which campaigns are most successful and then adjust their strategy accordingly. With the right data, businesses can ensure that their holiday season is prosperous and stress-free. At InfoTrust, our most sophisticated partners are definitely focused on driving the best return on advertising spend for their campaigns. So with a little preparation, you can also make sure your analytics are ready for the influx of holiday traffic. By tailoring your strategies to multiple segments of your customer base, you can provide the flexibility to adjust in real time. This approach allows our partners to maximize their ROAS during this peak season, while still providing the flexibility to adjust their campaigns as needed. And as a result, our partners are able to drive the best results for their businesses while still maintaining a high level of control over their campaign. In this session, we're going to cover a variety of strategies that you can use to increase your ROAS of your campaigns this holiday season, including predictive audiences, custom bidding, attribution modeling, forecasting, testing strategies, and holiday dashboard and reporting, a favorite of mine. We're going to begin with predictive audience methods. Predictive audience methods are a powerful tool for increasing your ROA. By using predictive audience methods, you can target your marketing to the exact people most likely to respond to it in order to maximize results. Because predictive audiences give you the ability to reach your most loyal and valuable customers, the ones who are most likely to buy your products or services, you will inevitably have greater targeting precision. They also save your company money by directing your marketing dollars to fewer consumers. And bonus, they've been shown to have a 20% higher ROA than other conventional digital marketing methods. Now, while using predictive audiences can help you increase your ROA, they can only do so if you do them right. To use predictive audiences correctly, you must be able to identify what your goals are and where the data is that will help you achieve those goals. That data should be accurate and reliable, which means you should know how to use it effectively and how to avoid any potential pitfalls or biases that might come from using the wrong kind of data or from using too much or not enough of the right kind of data. Once you've got all of that information, then you can start building out your predictive audiences based on what works best for your business. Now, the big question of the day: what kind of predictive audience methods should you use in your business? Here are a few common types: propensity modeling, customer lifetime value, time to reorder, and churn modeling. We're going to review each of these. So propensity modeling. This tool offers insight into how likely it is a customer will engage in a certain behavior, such as making a purchase or signing up for your email list. It can help you determine which customers are most likely to respond to your marketing efforts and then tailor your campaigns accordingly. Moving on to customer lifetime value, this predictive audience method helps you understand just how much you'll make from each customer over the course of their relationship with your brand. You can use this information to gauge whether it's worth it to spend additional resources on them or if they're likely to be less valuable than other customers. Time to reorder. This particular tool predicts when customers will need more of an item that you sell. For example, if you sell makeup products, this could be when people need new lipsticks or eyeliners. Knowing this information can help you plan future promotions around when those items would get used up and when they're most likely to buy them again. And finally, churn modeling. This predictive audience method predicts whether customers will leave your brand or not in the future based on current behavior. You can use this information to identify who is most at risk of leaving so that you can take action before they decide not to renew their membership or order again. By using predictive audiences, brands can make the most of their digital marketing budget by knowing exactly who they're reaching with their messaging and then target them accordingly. If you're looking to optimize your messaging and increase ROI this holiday season, I would definitely say give predictive audience methods a try. And bonus tip, GA4 has predictive audiences built in, meaning you can get started with them today and it requires way less setup. We're going to move on to custom bidding. In addition to predictive audiences, we have custom bidding. It's an excellent method to consider adding to your toolbox. As you know, the holiday season presents many opportunities to buy advertising to drive sales. But what if your products are cross-category and target different customers at different times of the year? How do you make sure that each touch point is presented to the customer when they are most likely or interested in buying? Display and Video 360's custom bidding solutions lets you define an impression value based on many factors or goals that are important to your business. This tool then uses the data to build an algorithm that will optimize your bids for maximum performance towards that particular goal, whether it be increased brand awareness, conversion rates, or spend efficiency. In short, DV360's automated bid strategies use previously scored impression data to raise and lower bids and attempts to get in front of users most likely to perform a desired action. We're going to review common use cases and how they can increase conversions for you from custom floodlight variables to floodlight sales revenue, weighted conversions, infrequent conversion activities, and linked Google Analytics 360. Let's go ahead and take a look into each. Custom floodlight variables. So custom floodlight variables allow advertisers to create custom data points that can be used as targeting criteria for their ad groups. This helps advertisers connect their DV360 platform with other data sources like third-party data or CRM systems so that they can target customers based on attributes like login status, page or product categories, and search keywords. For example, an advertiser may want to target customers who live in a particular zip code or have purchased a specific product within the past 6 months. They can then set up custom floodlight variables for these perimeters and use them as targeting criteria within their ad groups. Then we have floodlight sales revenue. Floodlight sales revenue allows advertisers to compare the performance of different campaigns by measuring each campaign's sales revenue per click or sales per click. This metric provides useful insights into how well each campaign is performing compared to others. And next up, we have weighted conversions. So with weighted conversions, you can apply different weights to the KPIs across your various funnels, and this will allow you to bid more on the goals that are most important to your business. For example, say we define a factor scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest. And let's say product view goal is not as important to you as purchase. And add to cart is somewhere in between the two of those events. When we look at weighted conversions, we would assign the following values. Product view, we would bid 2. Add to cart, we would bid 4. And purchase, we would bid 5. Essentially, weighted conversions allow you to customize bids across your funnel based on the value of each goal to your business. And we have infrequent conversion activities is the next one. Another common use case is conversion activities that incur infrequently. So for example, if you sell a product that's typically purchased in one-time orders, but occasionally people purchase multiple times in a single day, it can be hard to determine how much each order should be worth. If a customer purchases a second item on their next visit, this would be considered an infrequent activity because it only happens once in a while. But it could be very valuable to know where these infrequent behaviors are occurring so that marketers can focus on optimizing them when it matters most. And finally, we have linked Google Analytics 360. One common use case for custom bidding is to link your Google Analytics 360 account and DV360 account. If you do this, you can use your goals created in a linked Google Analytics 360 account to apply different weights to events on the advertiser's site. This can be useful because it allows you to focus your campaign efforts on specific actions that matter most to your business, like leads or clicks or conversions. And you can use this feature to increase ROA by optimizing bids based on the type of conversion you are trying to drive. For example, if you have an e-commerce store and you have set up in your GA360 account that tracks when someone adds an item to their cart, you can use that data to bid more aggressively on those clicks because they are more likely to convert. Or if you're an app developer, you could use GA360 data about how long it takes for someone to register for your service after clicking on a button labeled Register Now. And then we have a couple of other use cases. Drive more important categories, drive more on screen time, increase overall revenue, improve overall lifetime value of customers, and finally increase average time on site. So in conclusion, if you want to increase your ROA on ad spend this holiday season, custom bidding analytics will be a great tool for you. DV360's automated bid strategies use historical campaign data to raise and lower bids and attempt to get ads in front of the users who will most likely take the desired action that you want. Moving on to forecasting.
Perfect. Thank you, Christina. That was definitely a lot of good information about like predictive modeling and custom bidding. Now let's get into forecasting. Forecasting, again, is parallel to predictive audiences. It's sort of encompassing what we are talking about so far, but definitely forecasting as a marketing tactic is getting more used now in marketing campaigns, especially during holiday season as well. Christina, let's move on to, yeah, so there will be a little bit of coordination, Christina, between me and you now, but okay, let's talk all. So forecasting depends upon past and present data. So looking at past trends, looking at present existing trends, what's going on with your company, that can be analytics data, that can be sales data, and we'll talk about some of those pieces as well. And then general industry trends as well. So whatever we have as of today, we can make decisions based on future for that. And that as sort of a simplistic way is forecasting. As you can see on screen, forecasting can be qualitative and can be quantitative as well. I think we are very familiar with the quantitative aspect of forecasting, but let's talk about qualitative a bit. Qualitative, as the name suggests, can be more on experts' opinions, observations, the thought leader in the industry, what people are in general saying about like how the industry will trend over time, and analytics research as well. Any opinion polls, any sort of quizzes that industry have done in the past, you have run on your website. Those pieces are definitely important in the qualitative side as well. Quantitative, I think this is more famous now, definitely had been going on, not just in the digital analytics industry, but like even in other markets as well. We see that we have statistical analysis, we have data mining techniques and tools, which sort of, again, looking at that past and existing data to build and predict future trends. Forecasting, as I said, is definitely there are ways to actually predict. You can predict revenue for products. You can build it for categories. There are predictions you can make based on hourly, daily, weekly, and monthly as well. So it's sort of time by time base as well, but at the same time, you can make a complete quarter if you want forecasting as well. Christina, let's move on to the next slide. So forecasting, as I said, is coming now a lot on the holiday season for building your marketing tactics and building your marketing campaigns. There are numerous technical techniques available. We'll talk about that. We are seeing the use of machine learning and statistics as well to gain, again, the insights, more insights into past and present trends. That's what's been going on as of today. Christina, let's move on to the next slide. So some of the quantitative piece that we have talked about. So the first thing that we are increasingly seeing with our clients and industry, and what we in-house at InfoTrust do as well, is called total leads forecasting. So forecasting based on leads as of today, what's going on, what has been going on the past holiday seasons. There are methods called marketing qualified leads and sales qualified leads. And just as the name suggests, they are different types of leads that we are depending on as of today to make future predictions. There is cost forecasting, which can take into account the ad spends you're doing, the total budgets you have for your marketing campaign, and other financial factors to base upon how much money you should be spending or how much budget you should be spending for versus, let's say, Facebook advertisement versus ads. So those pieces are specifically focused on the cost forecasting as well. And then it also depends on the course of the campaign you have. Is it for entire holiday season, or are you just doing it for the first month or so? We will be talking about testing strategy in detail and later on too, but those pieces sort of involves here as well. And finally, making forecasting as an ongoing marketing tactic and solidifying it before the holiday season is definitely important. And actually this time of the year is probably the best strategy or approach that you should be looking at. Forecasters and marketeers should align on their marketing strategy so that if there are forecasters, if they're data science teams, which we do have brilliant data science team at InfoTrust as well, who does that for our clients. But the very essential component is that those forecasters and marketeers who are actually getting into, like, let's say Google Ads account or like Facebook management, they are on the same page. There are many stages of a plan that can be deployed during the implementation of a campaign. So it's very important, again, to treat this as sort of a project management in the sense this is the first part of the marketing tactic of the forecasting. We will again talk about the testing piece, which is very attached to this, to just make sure with the forecasts that you have done, have they sort of got into fruition, and are you on the same page with the forecasters? So those things are very important when we are talking about forecasting as a marketing tactic. Christina, let's move on to the next slide, please. Oh, perfect.
Awesome.
Let's talk about attribution modeling.
We're going to go ahead and move on to attribution modeling. Attribution modeling and how it can impact your holiday spend ROI. So attribution modeling is, if you don't know, the process of assigning credit to particular marketing channels for the performance of an ad campaign. This means that if you were to run a campaign with multiple ads, each with its own landing page and a call to action, attribution modeling would help you understand the role that the different campaigns play in the user journey. So why does attribution modeling matter? It's important to know how much each channel contributes to your overall sales, because this will give you the information you need to make strategic decisions about where to invest your money next. For example, if one channel is performing well while another isn't, it might make sense to shift more resources into the former channel so that it can continue growing at its current rate while retaining its success over time. Now, attribution modeling also helps you understand how much each channel is worth. If the channel is performing well but isn't generating enough revenue, it might be time for a strategic change. For example, if you're spending a lot of money on Facebook ads and getting few leads, this could mean that your target market isn't using Facebook as much as they once did, or that the way you're advertising on Facebook isn't working very well for your business. Now let's explore two very common types of attribution models and the difference between them. We're going to do rule-based and data-driven models. Data-driven attribution gives credit for a conversion to each of the interactions that contributed to the conversion. This model is different from first touch and last touch because it calculates the actual contribution of each click interaction to determine which ads or keywords and placements are credited with the conversion. It uses machine learning to evaluate converting and non-converting paths in order to learn how different touch points affect different conversions. Rule-based attribution, on the other hand, gives credit for a conversion to a particular channel based on a set of rules. And this can look like cross-channel last click, which attributes the conversion to the last channel a user clicked through. Cross-channel first click attributes the conversion to the first channel a user clicks through. Cross-channel linear attributes the conversion equally among all channels a user clicked through. And then cross-channel position-based, it attributes 40% of the conversion to the first and the last channels, and only 20% of the remaining channels, it attributes 20% to the remaining channels that a user had clicked through. And then finally, we have cross-channel time decay. This attributes credit based on time and using a 7-day half-life. A channel a user clicked through 1 day prior to a conversion would receive full credit, whereas a channel a user clicked through 7 days prior to conversion would receive half of a credit. And that's attribution modeling. Moving on to testing strategies, all yours, Sim.
Perfect. So, so far, folks, we have talked about different tactics. We have talked about attribution modeling, custom bidding, forecasting, predictive audiences, but now we are sort of in the phase of wrapping up, making sure that the techniques and tactics we have talked about, have they worked? So testing strategy is a big component, again, comes towards the end, but at the same time, very essential and often missed. There are many different types of testing that we can talk about. Ads experiment is one. Landing page A/B testing is probably the most famous used, and keyword optimization as well. Perfect. So ads experiment, as the name suggests, ads, we can test different types of ads based on either their copy, their landing page, their click attributes on the ads tool as well, and how they show up on the third party, not just on your website, but very much so applicable on your website on-page promotions as well if you're trying something during the holiday season. There are different types of ads. Usually we are talking about, in this case, run a test in Google experiments. You can optimize your campaign based on the efforts of the testing results. For example, if a version A of the copy is winning, it's very important to make real-time changes and not to sort of look in for the next year, but at the same time, be sort of spontaneous enough for your marketeers that you can sit down and sort of make changes over time. And that's especially possible for Google experiments, because the tool itself will give you real-time data, but at the same time, making adjustments is probably not like as difficult as it would be for landing page testing, which probably need dev resources as well. Christina, let's move on to the next slide. Perfect. So we talked about the ads experiment, focusing on ads testing. Now this is landing page A/B testing. We can test different pages where a user will land after clicking on your email or ad. I think many of the people who have joined, they have probably either heard about it or definitely have done these types of tests. They're definitely becoming more common because there are a lot of free tools out there, especially like Google Optimize is one of the biggest in the player, who can have the capability to run these tests for free of cost. At least like top 5, you can do it. The idea is to optimize your landing page to increase sort of the buy throughouts and to increase your conversion rates. You can understand your user engagement on various types of pages. And lastly, you can, again, as I said, utilize these test results to improve future campaigns, and not just future. The idea is that you can make real-time changes. So if an email is landing on page A, and that page A, within page A, there can be elements that can be changed. There can be a CTA button that can be improved, but it's very important to remember that testing is as important as implementation of some of these marketing tactics that we have talked before. Next slide. Perfect. Keyword optimization is, as the name suggests, optimizing the set of keywords that we are running for our ads. Again, this is focused more on the Google ads, but at the same time, you can get insights into performance of keywords. You can optimize campaigns with higher converting keywords. So again, that real-time component of testing, that if you see a keyword which is performing better, and many of the marketeers on this call probably know this already and probably do it for their SEM management, but it's important that if one keyword is performing well, you have that testing sort of mindset where you're looking at it iteratively and at the same time making real-time decisions. You can identify your keywords that are most likely to invoke the right action. Again, making sure there is that predictive component that what has worked in the past, but whatever you're running as of today as well, it's just important to reiteratively keep on testing that over time. And then you can run multiple A/B tests as well to optimize future campaigns. Like there can be A and a B test for keyword optimization. You can have 50% attribution towards one keyword, 50% towards the other. It doesn't have to cover 100% of your testing audience, but you can maybe keep 20% for testing and 80% receives what has worked in the past or presently working as well. Other testing strategies, which we won't go into, and probably the name by itself is self-sufficient, demographic testing. You can test based on users' age groups, user likes and dislikes, and these are some of the features that are available today. And many of the marketeers would know with SEM tools, you can have Facebook will give you those sort of predictive audiences targets for demographics. You can have audience segmentation based on your audiences, make certain segments that applies within on the website as well, but very much so a capability to, and many of the folks here would know that Google Analytics, for example, both GA4 and the older version of UA will have the capability to create audience segments and pass it on to like Google Ads or other Google optimized tools as well. So you will have that capability to segment something and just present a certain keywords or certain tests for certain audiences. And lastly, bidding optimization as well. Christina has talked about in detail about custom bidding. So this is touching upon that component, but towards that, again, the mindset of testing. So again, this is one thing I will recommend and take away from this component. And as I said, it's often missed during holiday, is just to make sure that whatever tactic we have done, not just to test it for next year, but real-time testing as well. And at InfoTrust, we have brilliant data viz testing team as well. So if you are one of our clients, do get in touch with your point of contact, and we can definitely help you in some of these testing strategies as well. Lastly, just to wrap up everything, we do want to talk about dashboarding and reporting. Again, the name suggests by itself, There are ways to report, there are ways to dashboard, but at the same time, it's very important to see your data in real time. We talked about testing to test it, but at the same time, it's important, and this is probably the right time of the year as well to talk to your analytics lead, to talk to your point of contact, to make sure that you have and you're prepared for the type of reporting that you need for the campaigns that you're running. We are seeing in front of our screen, there are tools now like Google Exploration, Google Data Studio, other tools like Tableau, and people know about data visualization tool. It's lesser about the tool. It's probably dependent on the ecosystem that you're in, but more so that you should be prepared and have a dashboard and report handy for, especially for marketeers that can make easier to make real-time decisions. And we talked about these third-party, like for example, the data there are reports within Google Ads Experiment, for example, that you can use as well for like daily changes and daily optimization. So again, very important component to have some sort of reporting in place. And let's just go over some of the reporting types of reports that we recommend. The first one is a sales performance report. Sales performance reports focus just primarily on your sales number. It focuses on the monetization, the revenue. GA4 comes equipped with the sales and performance report. Many of the folks who have joined this call would know that GA4 has the monetization section, and it will give you how your sales and conversions are performing. You can look at by channel, you can look at by demographic, but this type of report is most commonly used. It's a no-brainer, but it's one of those reports that you should always have handy, that looking at the final bottom line, that how the sales are performing. And it can be daily variations. We can look into weekly or like monthly, quarterly trends as well, and year over year comparisons as well. But the idea is to optimize your efforts and increase that ROAS, but at the same time, just making sure that there is an eye on the final bottom line as well. We talked about the sales performance. There is another report type we strongly recommend, is a keyword targeting and performance report. This will be focused just solely on the keywords, how your keywords are performing, what their event counts are, what their conversion rates are, how many people are sort of modifying those keywords to get what they're wanting to get. So again, it's overlapping a bit what we have talked in the sections, but this section sort of primarily focus on get in touch with your analytics leads, get in touch with your analysts on your accounts, and just make sure that you have these reports for marketeers to make solid decisions. For this, optimizing ads and landing pages keywords that have the highest conversion click-through rates, that's very important. GA and Google Ads do come equipped with keyword performance reports. So just to keep in mind, Google Ads itself has AdWords keyword performance. So that's something that can be utilized as well. And lastly, understanding how your users are interacting with these different keywords, and just making sure you have some report in handy to make those like existing and future predictions. Another report type we recommend is audience targeting and demographic. We talked about certain pieces of conversions and keywords, but it's also important to see who is coming onto your website. Understanding the ad performance in audience targeting and segmentation. In the testing section, we did talk about how the segmentation of your audiences can be transferred through Google Analytics into your Google Ads. This is where those things will sort of come into fruition, where you have to see who are the people that are interacting with your ads campaigns, with your marketing tactics, and with your website finally. You can optimize, Christina, we can, no problem. That's the right, no, just one slide before. One slide before, perfect, yeah. So you can base your ad targeting based on Google Ads, Facebook, Twitter over time. Understand how you should increase and adjust your budget. So if one demographic, one audience is working better, it's very important to sort of keep on adjusting the budget to increase that holiday ROAS in real time. That's important. And lastly, gain insight into the segmentation that will return the highest ROA. So if there is 80% of traffic, that 80-20 rule, right? So 20% of the budget, 80% of the return. So making sure that you have certain reports in front of yourself, so any different cross departments can talk to each other and make sure the numbers are sort of making that data-driven decisions over time. Christina, let's move on to the next slide. Perfect. We'll talk about the on-site behavior and engagement report as well. So far, we have talked about the acquisition piece, who are coming to the website, how the keywords are performing, basically how are we making people land on the website. But it's also important to make sure once they are on the website, what are they doing on the website, and to make sure you make those decisions like bounce rates, landing pages, performance, etc. This report, again, can be obtained easily from Web Analytics tool. Many folks who are on this webinar would know that there are sections for specifically for on-site behavior. You can gain, as I said, insights on what are users doing on the site, if there are higher bounce rates, higher exit rates for certain demographics, certain pages, certain keywords. So those are pieces that this report will cover. It will confirm the effectiveness of your KPIs. If you have key performance indicators, let's say the usual key performance indicator for probably everyone on this call would be sales performance, right? Bottom line. But sometimes for certain campaigns, we probably want to look at bounce rates, especially for emails, for example. We want to look at average session duration. So your KPIs can be changed over time, but at the same time, it's important that you have documented that in your reports and you have columns and sections. And again, if you are one of the InfoTrust clients, you can get in touch with your analytics lead, discuss your KPIs for your marketing campaigns, and we can definitely assure that those are reported and documented correctly so that we are looking at in real time and making changes to increase your ROAS. Yeah, we can move on to the next slide. We do want to talk about channel attribution and acquisition reports as well. This will be focusing specifically on channel performance. We talked about SEM component, we talked about Google Ads, but there are other channels as well, right? There are SEO, organic search, there's display, there is Facebook, there is direct channel. So this sort of report will focus on, we are focusing on the SEM component, the predictive audiences, the custom bidding, but we do want to make sure, for example, if SEO is either not getting cannibalized, or at the same time, if SEO is performing better for some of the other SEM components that we have talked about, it's important to have certain reports in a handy, and this can be done. All of these reports I've talked about, they can be honestly different tabs within one single dashboard. So they don't even have to be different reports, but it's important to have sort of that aspect of we are looking at channels as well overall, and not just focusing on SEM as one of the marketing tactics. Some of these components in this, we will learn how each channel contributes to your overall revenue. You can utilize rule-based and data-driven methods during attribution efforts, and then just gain insights into your overall goal conversions and optimization efforts based on your channels. We can move along. Perfect. Christina, you want to wrap up what we have talked about, and then we can get into Q&A.
Yep. And that concludes our session. So to recap, we covered predictive audiences, custom bidding, forecasting, attribution modeling, testing strategies, and lastly, we covered holiday dashboarding and reporting. That is everything. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. And then, do you have any final thoughts?
I am looking at some questions right now. Oh, that's a poll. Never mind. Yeah, in terms of final thoughts, again, as I said, all of these components are important to go in parallel. We can't be focusing on one and ignoring the other, but at the same time, a true marketing effectiveness would be when cross teams are working together to increase the ROAS for your holiday campaigns. So do let us know. We have different teams focusing on different aspects of some of these that we have discussed at InfoTrust. So if you are one of our clients, and please get in touch with your lead and discuss with one of these components, which you have heard during the webinar. And if some of these aspects are missed in your campaign strategy, we can definitely help you and get those spelled out. Yeah, I think, well, thanks for joining, everyone who has joined. Please let us know, even post this webinar on an email if you have any questions. And again, do get in touch with our awesome InfoTrust team. They have dedicated sources for different types of aspect that we have talked about.
Awesome. Well, I think we will call it a day and stop there. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your Tuesday.
Thank you all.
Thank you.